Okay. Hello everyone, welcome to Nairobi Baseball Community. We are at the Nairobi Field of Dreams. My name is Takeshi Oikawa, Chief Umpire of the Nairobi Baseball Community. And
I am John Kitur from Nairobi Baseball Community, Chief Scorer.
okay, so today we're going to talk about the official's role in baseball in a bit fun way. So first of all, when we say officials in baseball, it typically means two functions or two roles. The first one is umpire, like strike, safe, and another one is scorer. Now we're going to talk about how we should look as an umpire and scorers. So most important thing is you need to be easily recognizable in the field. So for Nairobi Baseball Community's case, we have these green jerseys, both for umpire and scorers. So they can easily recognize us as our officials. And for umpire, home plate umpire requires the protectors. The umpire's professional protectors is actually very expensive. So for our case, we use normal catcher's gear on its behalf. This is not perfect, but this does its job. Okay, so let me first talk about the role of umpire. Okay, everybody recognize umpire for the guy who is judging like strike and out, but that's not the only job for umpire. Umpire's role is actually controlling the game, before game, during the game, after the game, and encouraging the players to feel great about playing baseball. And time management is also part of the umpire's role. So I'm going to go to the detailed explanation on umpire later, but that's basically the umpire's role, controlling everything, including making the judge. Now, let's talk about umpire's role. I talked about umpire's role like pre-game, during the game, post-game. So let's now first talk about pre-game part. So umpire should be the one who comes to the field like approximately 1 hour before the game starting time and making sure everything is ready, including field condition, lines, diamonds, and teams are ready to play. And another very important role is communicate with captains and coaches with each team. That includes this is a game starting time and which team is a home team or away team, and making sure everybody will be ready at the game time. I am here with my co-coach, Mambo Clement, the best coach in Kenya and best catcher in Kenya. Welcome, Clement. And I said umpire's role number 2 is during the game. So during the game, everything starts from at the beginning of the game, which is lineup. So in the Nairobi Baseball Community's example, we put a strong emphasis on being respectful to each other. So we always start with this lining up and shaking hands. That's where and when umpire explains the ground rule, including if the ball gets outside of that part, it's going to be the ground rule double, and so on and so on. Making sure everybody understands the most important part of the game, including this game has a time limit of 2 hours, so we don't go into the next inning after 1 hour and 45 minutes, and so on. And in our community, we have this home plate, and you see this first base umpire and another base umpire on the green uniform. So for this specific game, we are applying 3 umpire system. Okay, so now you saw the video of umpires in action in the game. A couple of things to highlight in terms of umpires' mindset during the game. One, being very objective and neutral. Of course, umpire should not be biased for one team or another. Second point of umpire in action during the game is being confident. sometimes judging is very complicated. Even this strike or ball judgment is very, very complicated. Even the Major League Baseball umpires are making mistakes very regularly. So it's super important for you to be confident yourself. Even though it's a difficult judgment, once you make a call, you look confident and you stick to it. But at the same time, if you are not sure about what should be the call, depending on the situation, you call time, you speak to other umpires, you speak to officials, and then make a collective decision. You are not alone on the field. So be reliant on your colleagues on the field, other umpires and officials. So let's now talk about what's going to happen after the game, post game. So game is over, ball game. Then, similar to at the very beginning of the game, umpire will call both teams for the lineup and scorers. And everybody here, scorers shares the final scores. Umpire shares his or her perspectives of the game. Then again, very respectfully, we finish the game by shaking hands with everybody. Okay, so now we're gonna do a quick training or demonstration on how umpire should make the call. So the most important thing, the basic posture of umpire is looking and making a call. If it's a home umpire's case, looking, strike! And if it's a base umpire's case, starting from this position, you move to the best position, then you make a call. He's out! Safe! Okay, we are now doing a bit of the demonstration. Butter is Jennifer from Nairobi Buffaloes. Catcher is Joseph Wani from Samurai United. Both of them are great players from South Sudan in Nairobi baseball community. Then I'm going to talk about the basic positioning of the home plate umpire. Some people are standing here, right at the center, overlapping with the catcher. But if you do that, your eyesight is blocked by catcher. You can't really see the balls, particularly the low balls. That's a problem. So, where you should stand as a home plate umpire, it's actually between the catchers and the batters. Your positioning should be here, so you can see almost everywhere in the strike zone, including outlaw corner. I can still see this. And I can make a call whether it's a strike or ball. So now, where you stand, number 2. I see in Africa, many umpires are standing like this. The distance from umpire and catcher is actually big. But if you stand here, you actually can't see the ball very well, particularly the low ball. When you go low. Yeah, I can't see the ball because of the back of the catcher. So you actually have to stand right behind the catcher, almost overlapping with the catcher. Now I can see the glove very clearly. So to wrap it up, you stand between the batter and catcher, and you are overlapping with the catcher like this. 3-3. Now we're going to talk about strike zone. What's the definition of the strike zone? Many people are saying, well, it's somewhere around here from chest down to the knee, but very few people know the exact definition of the strike zone. So let's start from here. Strike zone definition is, first of all, lower side, here, kneecap. This is the lowest part of the strike zone. Highest part is between the armpit and the belt. So in Jennifer's case, somewhere around here. But most important thing is strike zone is not when somebody is standing like this. Jennifer, can you go to the hitting? Yes. So her strike zone, upper part is around here, lower part is around here. Okay. Otherwise, tall guy, but in reality, he's hitting like this. So strike zone definition is all about in the hitting posture. Thanks, Jennifer, standing still and keeping still here. The last part of the strike zone definition is on the side. So if the ball is actually touching the zone here, so this is the definition of strike zone. Imagine that there is an invisible zone here. So if the ball hits the zone, even partially, here, then it's strike. Sometimes people misunderstand, ball comes here, curve ball. Finally, it touches here, strike. Not really, because definition is here. If it's coming outside of here, it's ball.
So one of the roles of the officials is the scoring. So scoring is just part of being behind the chief umpire, that is keeping the scores of the game, that is keeping track of the offense and defense team, that is the strikes, the calls, just the calls from the umpire. So that's why as a scorer, we will need the lineup cards for both the offense and defense teams, and also the scorecard for keeping the track and the records, basically the statistics for all the players. So these are our very able scorers in action, keeping the scores of how the game is going on.
And work together. These guys are the backbone of making game day happen.